on the screen. Am I audible? Please respond to me. All of you get my voice on the screen. Those are attending in online. Guys, all of you respond to me. All of you get my voice on the screen. Those are attending in online. Am I audible? Guys, everybody please respond to me. All of you get my voice on the screen. Those who are attending in online. Please respond to me. All of you get my voice on the screen. No response, guys. Everybody respond to me. All of you get my voice on the screen. All right, sir. All right, now check it what we completed there in the last session. What topics here we are understanding. All right, sir. I think so. We are understanding about IOStreams topic. In IOStreams, IOStreams, serialization and deserialization topics we are understanding. That serialization and deserialization, serialization and deserialization. If we observe this, the total process of serialization here we are understanding. What is the process of serialization here? If we observe this, there the very first one we. All right. So if we design and execute any application on the basis of client server architecture or by distributing application logic over multiple machines, then that application is called distributed application. Right, sir. There is a simple definition for what are distributed applications. Next one is after this. In general, in a distributed applications, it's a convention to transfer objects from local machine to the remote machine and from remote machine to the local machine. If you want to transfer an object from a local machine to the remote machine, we have to use the following steps. What steps can we have to use? At the local machine, create an object which you want to serialize, that is serializable object. Separate the data from the serializable object. It is called a serialization. Convert the serialized data from system representation to the network representation. It is called marshalling. Send the network represented data to the network. At remote machine, get the data from network, convert the data from network representation to the system representation. It is called unmarshalling. Reconstruct an object on the basis of the data. It is called deserialization. Use the deserialized object in the application logic. Okay, right, sir. Next one is diagram. Here we provided. What was the diagram here we provided here? The same how that marshalling and serialization, deserialization, all the things are going on. Example here I shown there. First of all, here we have taken employee object at local machine. Separate the data from the object, serialization. After separating the data, then what we have to do there? After separating the data, we have to convert the data to the network representation, send that network represented data to the network. Now network will carry that network represented data to like what there to the remote machine. At remote machine, the data is available in the form of what there network representation. The network represented data will be converted to system representations. The system represented data will be stored by creating the same employee object again. So reconstructing an object on the basis of the data. So this is exactly the meaning of like what there, right, the remote mission and a deserialization. So converting data from network representation to the system representation, this is what unmarshalling, and reconstructing an object on the basis of the data, that is called as what there deserialization. Overall, these are the things here we understood clearly. completed. Then after this, in the standalone applications, if you want to perform serialization and deserialization, then we have to use a flat file like a text file. To perform serialization and deserialization in Java applications, Java has provided two byte-oriented streams. What are the two byte-oriented streams? No, object output stream for serialization, object input stream for deserialization. Understand it clearly. All right, sir. Now steps to perform serialization. Create a serializable class and a serializable object. In Java, by default, all the objects are not eligible for serialization and deserialization. Only the objects whose classes are implementing java.io.serializable interface, marker interface are eligible for the serialization and deserialization. Marker interface is a Java interface. It doesn't have abstract methods. By implementing marker interfaces, objects are able to get some abilities to the objects at runtime. If we want to get some abilities to the objects at runtime, just we have to implement java.io.serializable interface. That is marker interface we have to implement. Right, sir. Examples are like what there? Serializable. Then what next one here? No, clonable. They are the two examples here we have to understand. Serializable marker interface makes an object eligible for what? Serialization and deserialization. Example I given, public class employee implements serializable. Then we created an object employee emp is equal to new employee. Like this here we provided. Yes, sir. Got it or not? Right, sir. Now all of you understand it. I want to prepare a diagrammatic representation for this. Now try to understand it here. Right, sir. Now try to observe carefully. A simple diagram I'm going to prepare. So first of all, I want to take a Java program. This is like what there, a Java file. Java, right? Java application. Then after this, now this is a text file where I want to save my data. This is a text file. What text file it is? No, we can understand it clearly. abc.txt file or simply emp.txt. emp.txt that we have taken. All right, sir. Next one is after this, after completion of this. First of all, understand it. If you want to send data to the text file, not only text file, any file, if you want to send data to a particular file, there we have to use file output stream or not. There we have to use what there? File output stream. So first to create file output stream now. Create what there? File output stream. This is like what I'm telling to you, file output stream. File output stream. Here we created. Okay. Then after creating this file output stream, then what next one here we have to do? We need to create object output stream here we have to create. The next one is what there? Object output stream. Do one thing. One minute. Now we need to create object output stream. So this is object output stream here we are creating. Right, sir. Object output to stream. Okay. Right, sir. Then after this, after creating object output to stream, create a serializable object. Now I need to create the serializable object is like what there employee object here I want to create. Now here we have to create what object here now employee object. Inside this employee object here we have to provide the data. What data here we want to provide there? ENO is equal to 111, ename is equal to AAA and ESAL is equal to 5000. Like this I prepared this data. Now this object is like what there employee object. Now observe carefully, this employee object implements what there serializable. This employee object implements what there serializable. And its a reference variable is what there EMP1. EMP1 is a reference variable for it. Now EMP1 reference variable is existed. It's okay, fine. So next one is what there. Now file output stream is ready to send data to the text file. Object in output stream is ready to perform the required serialization. The remaining part is what there. We have to write this serializable object to do the object output stream. You have to write that serializable object to do the object output stream. So further purpose, what we have to do there, directly we are going to write it to the object output stream. When we write this one, automatically that object will be submitted to the object output stream where the same data is available. Now here the data is what there, ENO is equal to 111, ename is equal to AAA, ESAL is equal to 5000. The data is available here. When data is available here, now the data, then object output stream will perform the serialization. Perform serialization in the sense whatever the data which is available inside this object, the data will be taken out. The data will be separated. There we are able to get the data like what there, what data here we are able to see. ENO is equal to 111, ename is equal to AAA, and ESAL is equal to 5000. The data is generated here. When data is generated here, whatever the data which you have taken from the object, the data will be sent to the data will be submitted to the file output stream. In file output stream, the data will come in the form of what there zeros and ones. Whenever the data is available here, the data automatically will come toward the text file. When it is coming to the text file, the data will be represented in the text representation, not in the form of zeros and ones. Directly we can understand the data is going to be available in the text file like what there, ENO is equal to 111, ename is equal to AAA, ESAL is equal to 5000. The same data as is the data is available here. Right, sir. Now data is coming to like what there, file output to stream. Correct or not? Whenever the data is available for that means in text file, now this data is nothing but what their serialized data, and this total process is what their serialization. This total process is what their serialization completed. The next one is after this, After completion of this serialization, now we have to perform deserialization. Deserialization here we have to perform. Okay, then before going to perform this deserialization, first of all, let me complete this total serialization process. The document here I want to create the serialization process here. Now, first of all, what we created here now, create a serializable class and its object that we completed. Next one is what there. After that, the second point, create a file output to stream. Create a file output to stream with the target file. So further purpose, what we have to do there, file output to stream FOS is equal to new file output to stream of. Then here we have to provide like what there, emp.txt or something else that we can provide. Target file output stream is ready. When file output to stream is provided here, then what next one here we are doing there, we need to create object output to stream next one. All right, sir. Now we need to create like what there, object output to stream. Create object output to stream. Create what there, object output to stream. Object output to stream. Object output stream OS is equal to new object output to stream of FOS. That means object output stream and file output stream must be attached. In the diagram, we can identify this clearly. File output stream, object output stream, both must be attached, both must be connected. Then only the data will be transferred directly. All right, sir, it's okay, fine. That we created clearly, object output stream here we created. After creating object output stream, the fourth point is what there, write serializable object. Write a serializable object in the object output stream. To write a serializable object to the object output stream, there we have to use a method. What method here we have to use there? OS dot object output stream dot write object. OS dot what method here we have to use there? Write object. Write object of, there we have to provide what there? EMP1. I think already we created that employee EMP1. For example, I want to take employee object already we created, that we have written there directly. So that is available in the diagram. Now try to understand it clearly. Now writing this one in the sense, I want to give that in a section also. OS dot write object of EMP1. Automatically EMP1 is written to the object output stream. Object output stream is performing serialization. The serialized data will be submitted to what there, file output stream. File output stream will send the data to the text file. That's it. Now the data is available where? Text file. Of course, we can open the text file. There we can see what exactly the serialized data is available. Okay. Now I want to perform deserialization. To perform this deserialization, what we have to do here in this case, no, to perform deserialization. Now, to perform deserialization, first we have to get the serialized data from the text file or not. To send the data to the text file, we have used a file output stream. But to get the data from the text file, we have to use file input stream. To get the data from the text file, we have to use what there? File input stream. Observe carefully. Now, what we are providing it, now I need to get, now here I need to use like what there? File input stream. Here we have to create. File input stream. Here we have to create. FIS. When we created this file input stream, automatically the data, the serialized data which is available in the serialized data which is available in a text file, the data will come to the file input stream. There now we are getting the data like this. Okay, fine. Now the serialized data is available in file input stream. If we want to perform deserialization, first we have to create what there object input stream. Then immediately create object input stream. Create object input stream. Right, sir. Whenever we created this object input stream, when we created this object input stream will take the serialized data from file input stream. All right. On the base of this data, now in object input stream, the data is available like this: ENY is equal to 111, ename is equal to AAA, ESAL is equal to 5000. The data here we have taken like this. Okay. When data is coming to this object input stream, on the base of this, it will construct an object. On the base of the data, it will construct an object. Whenever object is constructed on the base of the data, that we have to read, that object must be taken to outside of this object input stream. As now object is created, object that we have taken out. Now of course that we can represent in the form of a separate reference variable. Okay, whenever this object here we have taken out, there we can use that reference variable name is like what there, emp2. emp2 is a reference variable that is created. Now this process is called deserialization. This total process is called as what there, deserialization. So both are completed. Serialization and deserialization both are completed. So this is the total process of serialization and deserialization. Now let's move on to the points here. Now once again, now I'm going to explain, try to understand it. First of all, what is available here? In the serialization, the total data is provided inside the text file. The serialized data is available where here? In the text file. What data is available here? ENO is equal to 111, ename is equal to AAA, ESAL is equal to 5000. But understand it, here I provided this data in our understandable form. But when we open the text file after the serialization, there we are unable to see the data as it is like in this form. There in some compressed format we are able to get some different symbols we are able to get. I get my point or not? Some different symbols there we are able to get. Where @ symbols, underscore symbols, hyphen symbols with some data is not in a readable form. Some intermediate data we can identify, but we can identify the names of the variables, which variable data is coming, that we can see directly now. Okay, all right, sir. Now, if we want to perform deserialization, first of all, we have to get a serialized data from the text file. To get the data from text file, we have to use what their file input stream. When we create this file input stream with this particular source file, no, whatever the data which is already available in the text file, the total data will come to what their file input stream. After that, to perform this deserialization, Java has given a predefined stream, that is what their object input stream. Then if we create this object input stream with the file input stream, automatically the data which is available in file input stream will come to the object input stream. Then on the base of this data, object input stream is creating what there an object. So creating object on the base of the data is called as what there deserialization. All right, whenever the deserialized object is available, that we have to read from the object input stream. To read data from the object input stream, there we are going to use a separate method. A separate method here we are going to use to read data from the object input stream. That method is nothing but what there employee emp2 is equal to object input stream dot read object method that we have to use. What is this method here we are using here? Read object method. Of course, where typecasting is required, but I'm not going to think about this typecasting here. All right, read object method will read employee object in the form of object to type. There we have to typecast from object to type to what their employee. So anyway, I'm not doing that, but directly I have prepared this code here. Employee emp2 is equal to OIS dot read object. There's a total process here we have to identify. Right, sir. Now when it is completed now, I want to keep this document in the diagram, that means in the document here. After this, now I want to go for like what are the steps to perform deserialization. Steps to perform serialization here we completed. Now we have to understand like what are the steps to perform deserialization. Tell me, sir, what is the first step here we have to do there? Step number 1, create a file input to stream from the source file. Create file input stream from the source file. File input to stream, file input to stream FIS is equal to new file input stream of something else emp.txt that we created. Next one is what? After this, point number 2, create object input stream with the file input stream. Right, sir, with the file input stream. To create this object input stream with the file input stream, then what we have to do there? Object input stream OIS is equal to new object input stream of, there we have to provide what their file input stream. Object input stream OIS is equal to new object input stream of what their file output, file input stream that we created. All right, sir, it's okay, fine. Whenever we created this, then what it is going to be happen there in this particular instruction where, listen carefully, where the object input stream will take the serialized data from the file input stream. It will take the serialized data from what there file input stream. Okay, where object input stream will take the data, will take the serialized data from the file input stream, comma, it will perform deserialization and generate a deserialized, it will perform deserialization and it will generate a deserialized object. Object is ready. When object is ready, what is the next step here we have to do there? Just we have to read the deserialized object from the object input stream. Read the deserialized object from the object input stream. So for that, what we have to do there, employee emp2 is equal to bracket employee object input stream dot read object method. Object input stream dot what there, read object method. So finally we are getting the data. Whenever we are getting the data, there we can display the data, whatever the data which is available in employee, the same data there we can display. That's it. Now this is a total story of like what their deserialization process. Got it clearly? Now next one is what there, I want to show an example. In a diagrammatic view also we are getting the total output. Now I want to prepare an example on the base of this. Now try to understand it clearly. Right, sir. Now understand it. All right, sir. Now I want to prepare a separate project. So new project here I have taken. So now my workspace I want to change it. Now APP 18. So Java IntelliJ IDEA application I want to create. Create. All right, sir. Now I want to use what the new window. So observe carefully. First of all, right click on SRC. New a package here I want to take. Package name is com dot durgasoft dot entities. I want to take it a separate package. No, there I want to take employee class, new Java class. Now the class name is like what there, employee. Now you only tell me. I want to make eligible this employee object for what there, for serialization and deserialization. What I have to do here? If you want to make eligible this employee object for serialization and deserialization, what we have to do? You only tell me. First we have to write what there, implements serializable marker interface, that we have to implement. Okay, fine. Now inside this, I need to perform some serialization over the data. To perform serialization over the data, first what we have to do there, and we need to take some variables, class level variables. What are the class level variables here I'm going to take now? First of all, int eno. Next one is what there, string e name, then a float e shell, then a string e addr, that we have taken. All four variables here I have taken. int envo, string ename, float ecell, and string eaddr. Next one is I need to create an object for this employee class with the data. To provide an object, to create an object for this particular one, we need to take a constructor. Alt insert, there we have to use constructor, select all, then click on enter button. Public employee int envo, string ename, float ecell, string eaddr. Like this here we have taken. Alright, sir. Next one is after this. After taking this constructor, I want to display this employee data before serialization and after deserialization. Everybody understand it? Serialization must maintain the same data in original object. Whatever the data which is available in original object, same data we have to maintain in this deserialized object. Data must not be lost. Serialization should not lose the original data. Okay. So because of that reason, what I am telling there, I want to check it. I want to display the data before serialization and I want to display the same data after the deserialization. So for that, I will provide like what there, public void get emp details or employee details. Get employee details. Whenever we have written public void get employee details, there we are able to write like what there, system.out.println of employee details. System.out.println of employee details. System.out.println of line space. Then after this, system.out.println of employee number plus envo. Then after this, system.out.println of employee name plus ename. Now system.out.println of employee salary plus esal. Then system.out.println of employee address plus eaddr. Like this here we are getting some data. So finally my serializable class is completed. What I have taken there inside the serializable class now, public class employee implement serializable. Then I have taken like what there, variables. What variables here I have taken there? 4 variables I have taken, envo, ename, esal, eaddr. Then after that I have taken a constructor. Parameter constructor here we have taken. After this here we have taken what there, get employee details method here we have taken. Alright, system.out.println of employee details, system.out.println line space. Then after that here we provided like what there, employee number, envo, employee name, ename, employee salary, esal, employee address, eaddr we have taken. That's okay, fine. This is about like what there, a serializable class here we created. That's okay, fine. When we complete this serializable class in the main.java, we need to perform serialization and deserialization over the objects. For the sake of the program safety purpose, I'm using like what there, throws exception. Then first of all, what we have to do there, we need to create file output stream. We need to prepare what there, we need to make it the target file. So here we have to use what there, file output stream. File output stream is equal to new file output stream. There we have to provide some file. Where I am going to provide this file, actually I want to provide this file at E drive ABC XYZ, where might be some document is available there inside this ABC XYZ. I want to prepare my document, that means my text document. So now here what I have to do there, the location here I have to specify e:/abc/xyz/emp.txt. What the file here we have taken there, emp.txt. So file output stream here we have taken. Whenever we have taken this file output stream, then what next one here now, observe carefully. File output stream is okay. Then what next one here now, we need to create a object output stream. Object output stream is equal to, object output stream. Object output stream is equal to new object output stream of a file output stream. Object output stream is equal to new object output stream of file output stream. Whenever we are getting this file output stream, object output stream, create a serializable object. Employee 1 is equal to new employee. There we have to provide 111 comma. Right, sir. There we have to provide 111 comma. Next one is something else like what the Durga. Then after this 5,000 or comma. Then what next one here? Hyderabad. The data here we provided here. It's okay. Employee one. This is like what the serializable object. But so far I have not started serialization. Just we created only what their serializable object. Then whenever we created this serializable object, then what we have to do there? I want to write it sys.out.println of employee details before serialization. Then what we have to do there? Now observe carefully. In employee.java, I have written any method here. No, get employee details method we have written. Then inside this, then what we have to do there? Employee one dot get employee details method here we have written. Okay. Now we are displaying the data before serialization. Now I'm going to perform serialization. Object output stream dot write object of write object of there we have to pass for their employee one. So their serialization here we performed here. Okay, now here whenever we completed this serialization, then data is available where what there at a respect to text file emp.txt file. Serialization is completed. After performing this serialization, then what next one here? We need to perform deserialization. Now serialization is completed. I want to get the deserialization. Right. If you want to get deserialization, first we have to create file input stream. File input stream. File input stream is equal to new file input stream of. Now here we have to provide /abc/xyz/ there we have to provide what there emp.txt data we are getting. Next one is what there object input stream. Object input stream. Then what next one you know object input stream is equal to new object input stream of file input stream. Object input stream is equal to new object input stream of file input stream. Now we are getting the data. Deserialization is also be performed. Remaining what is what there we have to read the data. Employee 2 is equal to inside the bracket here we have to provide employee object input stream dot object input stream dot object input stream dot what we have to provide there read object method. Automatically that object value here we are able to get in the form of object type that we perform what there typecasting here we are doing there. After completion of this typecasting there we are getting what there employee object. Whenever we are getting this employee object there what we have to do there now system.out.println of employee details after deserialization. Employee details after deserialization. Now here system.out.println of system.out.println of line space here we provided. Sorry. All right. So now not this one. System.out.println after deserialization. Now object output stream. Sorry. Object input stream. Already we have taken that object here. Directly here we can write what there. Object2 dot get employee details method here we have to write. Whenever we completed this, all right, so now this total part is completed. Deserialization is also be completed. Now we are trying to get the data from what there deserialization. That means we are trying to get the data from employee object, employee2 object. Employee2 object is what there deserializer object. Employee1 is what there serializer object. Employee2 is what there deserializer object. Right, sir. Now let's understand this clearly. I want to execute this program. Now try to execute this content here. There we are able to get some data. Right, sir. Now see this data here. Employee details before serialization. Employee details we are getting. Next one is what there? Employee number, employee name, employee salary, employee address. After that, employee details after deserialization. Employee details. Next one is what there? Employee number, employee name, employee salary, and employee address. This data here we are getting. Right, sir. Got it or not? So this is so overall information serialization and deserialization here we are getting. Now I want to show the serialized data. Now I want to show what there serialized data. Okay, now see this one, the serialized data. This is the serialized data. For which class we perform a serialization? Employee class. What variables are involved in the serialization? ENO, ESAL, EADDR. Their data types, string type only here we are able to identify. Of course, ename also. Values we can add with string data, we can identify Hyderabad and Durgam. But numeric data is not possible to identify. Numeric data is provided in what there in a different form here. Got it or not? So this is exactly the meaning of like what there, the serialized data here, what we are getting. This is about like what there serialized data. It's okay, fine. So finally, here we understood like what there serialization and deserialization. That's it. Let me copy this example. Now here I'll provide some output also. Right. So now after understanding this serialization and deserialization, here we are having some experiments over this process. All right. Now first point number one, observe carefully. Now my question is, if you want to perform serialization over an object, first of all, that object must be eligible for serialization or not? That object must be eligible for serialization or not? Then only we are able to perform what their serialization. Otherwise, it's not possible to perform what their serialization. How we are able to give eligibility for the object for serialization? How this object is eligible for serialization? How we are able to provide eligibility? Just by implementing what there? By implementing what there? Serializable interface. By implementing what there? Serializable interface. Got it or not? But my question is, if you're trying to perform serialization over an object without implementing serializable interface, if I'm trying to perform serialization, then what will happen? What we are able to get? Will it perform any serialization directly? Is it possible to perform serialization? No. Let me check this. Definitely we are able to get an exception. That exception is not a serializable exception. Java.io. Not a serializable exception here we are able to get. Right, sir. Initial data we displayed here, exception in thread main, java.io. Not a serializable exception. The exception name is what there? Not a serializable exception. What class is not serializable? com.durgasoft.entities.employee. That employee class is not serializable. That exception here we are getting. Alright, sir. Now the point is what? In Java applications, everybody understand it clearly. In Java applications, if you perform serialization over an object without implementing java.io. Serializable marker interface, without implementing java.io. Serializable marker interface. I think so. 1 minute, sir. Only main class I copied. Employee class is not copied, right? Yeah, right. Perfect. Right, sir. Now coming to the point here. In Java applications, if we perform serialization over an object without implementing java.io. Serializable marker interface, then the JVM will raise an exception. an exception like what there? Java.io dot not serializable exception colon com dot durgasoft dot entities dot employee com dot durgasoft dot entities dot employee. So this is an exception here we are able to get. Now see this program here. Same thing. Now here I want to show the same program. First of all, employee.java here I'm taking, but where we have not implemented the serializable interface. Next one is after this main.java. Right, sir. There we are getting an exception. What exception here we are getting there? Understand it clearly. Right, sir. Now data we provided, then after that we are getting an exception. It's okay, fine. Next one is after this, I have some requirements. Everybody understand these requirements, no? Right, sir. Now, for example, I want to remove this one. I want to take some simple class here. Here itself, I want to take class now. What class here I'm going to take there? Class user, for example. Right, class user. Inside this class user, say for example, int user ID is equal to 111, string username, some value here we have taken Durga. Okay, fine. Int min age. Now tell me, minimum age, maximum age, I want to take for the user. That min age and max age data is a common data for every user or not? Understand my point here? Min age and max age data must be common for every user or not? Understand it here? It's a common for every user. Once it is common for every user, we have to declare the data as what data? Static data. We have to declare the data as what data? Static data. Understand it clearly. Okay. Right, sir. Then people are asking to me, sir, in employee class code, you forgot to implement serializable interface. Right, sir. Yeah, then where it is, no, just let me give clarity on it. Here I have not forgotten. Then what about this one? Is the first example, no? All right, perfect. Right. Your answer is right. I was mistaken. Right. Implement serializable. Yeah, right, perfect. Now coming to the point here. But second example, intentionally removed that implement serializable. That's the point actually. Okay. All right. And now coming to the point here, what is the point I'm telling to you? Know, common data is available for more than one user. The same common data I want to provide. If you want to represent any common data for more than one user, the data we have to declare as what? Come on, the data must be declared as what? Static data. The data must be declared as what there? Static data. Am I right or not? Okay. Where static variables data will be stored? Where static variables data will be stored inside the object or in outside of the object? Outside of the object, not inside the object. In method area, the static variables data will be stored. Am I right or not? Right. Now see this one, all of you. All of you observe carefully. In my program, class user I have taken there. Static int min age is equal to, say for example, I want to provide 18. Static int max age is equal to 25. For example, I have taken like this. All right, sir. These two variables here I've taken. Now my requirement is what? I want to serialize. The deserialization is not required for me. Even this much of setup is also not required. I want to delete it. Total I want delete. I want to rewrite the program. But understand the point here. Now user class here I've taken. I want to write like what there implements serializable. I want to serialize this user object where int data I have taken, string data I have taken, constant variables I have taken, static variables data here I have taken. Now inside this, what we have to do there? First of all, we need to create object output stream. Object output stream is equal to new object output stream of new file output stream. New file output stream of, there I want to specify // abc / xyz / user dot txt. At a time in a single line I have written the total content here. Observe carefully the code now. What I have given there? Object output stream. Next one is what there? Object output stream. Next one is what there? After this, new object output stream, new file output stream. Then what next one here? After this new file output stream, no. All right. Next one is what there? New file output stream. There we have to provide what there? User.txt. What we are getting there? User.txt. That we are getting clearly. All right, sir. Just 1 minute, guys. Just. All right, sir. Now coming to the point here, what we are discussing there. Listen carefully. Class user implements a serializable. So here mainly we have to put concentration on the static variables, min is, max is. Along with that, user ID, username we have taken. Then object output stream is equal to new object output stream. Then parameter what I passed there directly, new file output stream. Anyway, then we need to create file output stream separately, that we have to pass as parameter to object output stream. But now directly I'm passing. Directly I'm passing what there? That file output stream that we passed. New file output stream of, there we have to provide what there? The target file. Okay, clear. Object output stream is ready. Next one is what? After this, I need to create an object for what there? User object here I need to create user. Then after this, user is equal to new user object here we created object output stream dot then write object method here we have to call, there we have to pass what their user. Understand it? Okay. Then I want to perform like what there I want to say. So open :/abc /xyz /user.txt and check the data in the serialization. Check the data in the text file. That means what we have to check the data in the text file, all the variables are participated in that serialization or not. All variables, user ID, username, then what next one? After that, min age, max age, all this data is participated in the serialization or not. That I want to check. Right, sir? Now let's understand this clearly. Now let me execute this one. And before that, I'm telling to you, in :/abc xyz, we have only emp.txt. We are not having any user.txt. Now, let me run it. If I execute this program, there automatically user.txt will be created. Inside that user.txt, there we can see some data, some serialized data we are able to identify. Let's understand the data. Now see this one. What data is identified here? Class name is user, okay. Then what is identified? User ID is okay. Username is okay. That's it. Have you seen anything about min age and max age? No. Min age and max age. Have you seen anything about min age and max age? No. No, we have not seen that. Why? Because what is the reason for it? The two variables are declared as a static variables. The two variables are declared as what variables? No, static variables. Static variables will not be stored inside the objects. They'll be stored in method area. But serialization is going on the basis of the objects only. Serialization will be performed over the data which is available inside the objects only. Serialization is not applicable for the data which is available in outside of the object. Now static variables data is not stored inside the object. Static variables data will be stored in what there? Outside of the object. So serialization is not applicable for such type of data. Serialization is applicable for only the data which is available inside the object. Static variables data is not going to be stored inside the object. Static variables data will be stored in outside of the object. So that static variables are not included, not involved in the objective serialization. Even though if we provide static variables in our program, they will not be included in the objective serialization. That is a simple point here I'm telling you. Okay. Right. So now let me go for this point also, no? Then understand it clearly. In Java applications, in Java applications, in Java applications, serialization is applicable for the data which is available inside the objects, which is available inside the objects. All right, serialization is not applicable for the data which is available outside of the object, in outside of the object, which is available outside of the objects. All right, sir. In Java, static variables data will be stored in a method area, that is in outside of the object, that is in outside of the object. So static variables data, will not be included, or simply speaking, static variables will not be included in the objective serialization. Static variables data will not be included in what their objective serialization. All right, now these are the points here we have to understand clearly. Right, now example code later I will provide this after completion of this. After understanding one more point, example here I want to provide. Try to understand it clearly. Right, sir. This is about the point here I'm telling to you. Next one is after this. Observe carefully. String password is equal to Durga123. String of password is equal to Durga123. Clear? Now tell me, password data is a static data or non-static data? Password data. Password data is an individual to the user or not? If it is individual to the user, we should not declare it as a static variable. You must declare it as what there, instance variable. Am I right or not? All right. We saved it. After that, I'm trying to perform object serialization. What is going to be happen? Observe carefully. Right, sir, completed. Now let me check it. Now tell me, password data is available to the text file or not? Password data is available to the text file or not? Somewhere else we can identify the Durga123. Am I right or not? Understand it? This is a problem. Password data is the most secure data. Security must be provided. But in the serialization and deserialization process, if a password data is included, automatically the data is available to the text file or not, some other file system or not. Once this data is available in file system, anybody else can open it and anybody else can get the data, password data. So security problem is coming or not? So directly I'm telling one point here, serialization is not providing security for the data. Serialization and deserialization is not providing security for our data. Observe carefully. So there is a conclusion here I'm telling them. But I want to provide security for my password data. So what I have to do? I want to provide security for my password data. To provide security to the password data, you should not include that password data in the serialization. You should not allow this password variable in the serialization. If you don't want to allow this password data in the serialization, then we have to declare that as what? Come on, that we have to declare as what? Static. But what is the nature of the password? Is it a common data or individual data? Individual data. We must not declare it as what there? Static. But if we don't want to include this variable in the serialization, then we are not having any other alternative. We need to declare the data is what there? Static. So some controversial is coming or not? Some opposite directions are coming or not? Right. Exactly here the point what I am telling to you. Intentionally, if you want to stop any variable in serialization, if you want to block any variable in serialization intentionally, then it is possible in Java that simple declare that variable as a transient variable. Declare that variable as what variable? Transient variable. By nature, by nature, by nature, static variables are not included in the serialization. But if you want to stop any variable not to participate in serialization, if you want to make any variable not to do participate in serialization, then we have to declare that variable with what? Transient variable, transient keyword. Now see this one, my password is available here. I want to declare this password as what there? Transient. Transient is a variable. That's it. That variable is declared with what there? Transient variable. Now see this one, the same program once again I'm going to execute. Right, sir. Now let me open this user.txt. Have you seen any password data now? So security we provided or not? But still my variable is an instance variable. My variable is not participated in serialization or not? Right. That's the meaning of providing security over the serialization. By using what keyword here now? Transient keyword. Transient variables are also be not allowed in the object serialization. Right. In Java applications, if you want to stop any instance variable, if you want to stop any instance variable in the object serialization, then we have to declare, serialization, then we have to declare that variable as a transient variable. Right, sir? Now let us check this one again. Transient variable. Okay. Right. Now overall 2 points here, 2 more points here we covered here. 2 points, 3 points here we covered here. Without implementing serializable interface, what happened? If it is a static variable, whether they are going to be allowed or not allowed in the serialization, right? If you want to stop forcibly, if you want to stop a variable inside the serialization, there what keyword we have to use? Transient keyword. These are the various points here we understood. One or two simple points are available that we are going to understand in tomorrow. All right, sir. Now that is a, see, after declaring that variable as a transient is a part of the object, but it is not the part of serialization. That will store inside the object, but it will not be like what there, it will not be in the serialization process. It will store inside the object only. Okay, fine. All right, sir. So the next two more points are available that I will discuss within tomorrow. Tomorrow we are going to complete this IOSIMS max, two more points in serialization, externalization, and a file system. These two topics are remaining. We are going to complete it. If time is permitted, I'll start networking topic on tomorrow max. Okay. Right, sir. Then I want to stop this session now. We'll discuss the remaining important tomorrow. Let's take some break. Come back for advanced Java class now. Thank you.
application static condition